What is going on, guys? My name is Crafty, and today I am bringing to you guys a new series on how to use the Minecraft plugin called Voxelsniper. In case any of you do not know what Voxelsniper is, it is basically a terraforming plugin that allows you to manipulate the terrain on Minecraft. The link for the plugin will be in the description below. But anyways, this video will be focusing on the very basic brushes that allow you to generate blocks in Voxelsniper. So please keep in mind that this is the first video, and I will be making a lot more in the future on how to use the advanced brushes and techniques when it comes to terraforming. But without further ado, let's get started. To start out with Voxelsniper, make sure you have both an arrow and gunpowder in your hotbar. When using the various brushes in Voxelsniper, right-clicking with an arrow will use the desired effect of the brush, while right-clicking with gunpowder will use the opposite effect of the brush. For instance, if you are trying to erode terrain, using an arrow will indeed erode the terrain, while using the gunpowder tool will build up the terrain. Moving on, you are going to primarily be using three basic commands. The first command is called voxel select. This command, /v, is followed by the data value or name of the block you would like to use. In this video, we are going to be using stone, so the command I used is /v space 1. The next command is the brush command. /b is used to both set the size of the brush you would like to use, as well as the brush you would like to use. For instance, if you wanted to use a ball brush with a radius of 3, you would first type /b space 3, and then follow that command up by typing /b space ball. You don't necessarily need to use these commands in any particular order, however, I would start out by setting the data value of the block that you would like to use. Also note that to undo any action in Voxelsniper, simply type /u. Now that we've gone over both the tools and the basic commands, let's hop into the most basic material brush possible. The voxel brush can be activated by typing /b space v. When right-clicking with an arrow, it will create a solid square, as you can see from the images. As we said earlier, however, using the gunpowder tool will not create the squares, but rather remove the blocks in the area that you defined. The first example of this brush is using a radius of size 3. As you can see, it creates a decent sized cube that has a radius of 3 but a diameter of 7. This is because the brush size command we went over earlier defines the radius of the brush. Also take note that the radius expands off of the center block. Another example is using a brush size of 5. This will create a solid cube that has a radius of 5 but a diameter of 11. Lastly, the cube that you see in the images was created using a brush size of 7. As a result, the cube has a radius of 7 but a diameter of 15 stone blocks. Continuing on, we have the ball brush. The ball brush is useful for both removing areas for caves as well as creating terrain. To activate the ball brush, type /b space b. To create caves with this tool, you will need to use the gunpowder tool, while the arrow will help you to create terrain. But before you run off, let's take a look at some examples. This first example creates a ball that has a radius of size 3. As I said earlier, this radius expands off of the center block, so the diameter of the ball you see in the images is 7 stone blocks. Taking a look at a brush size of 5, you can see that the ball starts to get progressively more circular. This is a result of using larger brush sizes. As the brush size gets larger, the ball will grow more circular. Lastly, a brush size of 7 will create a ball that has a diameter of 15 blocks. And as I previously noted, the ball looks much more circular than the previous two examples. Moving on, the last main material brush that you will be using is the disc brush. You can use this brush by typing /b space d. Though you probably won't use this brush too often, it can be very useful to create things such as riverbeds or filling in the gaps in hilly terrain. Keep in mind that this brush is only 1 block in height. Looking at the first example, you can see that we used a brush size of 3. This means that the disc will have a radius of 7 but will remain 1 block tall. The second example uses a radius of 5, thus creating a disc that has a diameter of 11. As you can see from the images, the disc will always be 1 block tall. And finally, this last example uses a brush size of 7, which creates a disc with a diameter of 15. This brush compares to the ball brush in the fact that the larger brush size you use, the more circular the disc will be. Alright guys, that is all I have for you today. As I said, this video is to simply introduce you guys to Voxelsniper. I will be doing in-depth applications of this plugin in the future, but for right now, I am trying to help you guys learn how to use the plugin first. If you found today's video useful, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all the support, and if you have any feedback whatsoever, please do leave a comment. Other than that guys, have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next video.